If you want to level up your deviled egg game, you're going to stay tuned to this video to find out how I made these 3 unique twists on the classic deviled egg. Let's get started. So here's what we're working with today. And yes, I am using pre-boiled eggs because I cannot abide by the smell of boiled eggs in my house. However, I did boil the duck eggs and said a prayer that they would not stink and would come out all right. Now let's get into this. Here are my reasons for using this. Before you be like Cardi B, what was the reason? What was the reason? These are the reasons. You don't have to. You may not be able to find it, but now you know why I did. When I'm baking, I normally know to mix the dry ingredients together before mixing the wet ingredients. I didn't do that here. I put a beet in with these eggs so I would know that this had the apple cinnamon vinegar because the other one had red wine vinegar. Now here's another note. You need to make sure you note this because if you don't, your eggs will come out white in the middle. They will be red on the outside and white in the inside. We put them aside as we got to our green eggs and ham. So I wanted to do this, but there was no way I was going to try to make the egg white green. Ew, that just wasn't going to happen. But I knew the next best way to do it was to make the filling green. And I got a thing with mixing spinach together with stuff. It's one of the easiest things to mix in smoothies or right here. So I just got a thing. If you mix spinach with it, it's going to turn it green and it probably will be good, especially if you like spinach. So that's what we did here. Everything else was pretty much the traditional fillings or traditional things you would put in for your deviled egg filling. It wasn't green enough for me, so I added a little bit more spinach and it did come out green basically to satisfy my liking. Now, what you're witnessing is the debut and finale of my thrifted deviled eggs tray. I was so excited to use this tray, but up against the backdrop of green filled deviled eggs, I was like, yeah, no, it's probably not going to work. And don't worry if your shells are a little dirty and have a little bit of residue of yolk there. First of all, who cares? You're eating it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You'll still enjoy it. Now, the ham part, you can use ham if you want to use actual ham, but pancetta is, again, level up. If you know, you know. So I got those set aside and moved along to my deviled duck eggs, which I made pretty much traditional, except I used this lemon turmeric salt, which once again, it was the first and last use of that. It wasn't lemony or turmeric-y, if that's a word, but I still used it. Praise be to God on high, the eggs came out right. I was so excited because I didn't have more to do a do-over. So I had got those out using my little tiny spoon. They were a little harder to get out, a lot more yolk to deal with, and I got to work. All of the ingredients will be in the description. That's why they're not coming up on the screen and I'm not telling you what they are, but basically everything follows suit. Just a note, I did use honey mustard here because I wanted to add the sweetness without putting sugar. So after I got this mixed together, I did a little taste and then I'm like, no, it could use more. And then I basically looked up at my spices and anything that screamed my name went into the bowl. It was like, put me in, coach. And let me tell you something. Every single thing that went in was necessary for how I wanted it to taste. I was so incredibly pleased with how the duck eggs came out. I dressed them like traditional, and then my green eggs and ham. Y'all, I tried my best to do creative plating, but listen, it's all about the taste. So let's get into that. So I could not wait to taste these green eggs and ham. I have been looking forward to it all day. Let's take a taste. That is so good. If you love spinach, you're gonna love this because the spinach really comes through. All right, next up is the beet egg or the pickle egg. And I like to call it a beet egg because, like I said, I stuffed it with the beet. So I feel like more so than a pickled egg, it's a beet egg. All right, let's take a taste. That is really good. The flavor of the beet. Can you feel the beet? Up. You'll find that I'm that corny. No, but that is amazing. The apple cider vinegar is a must. It is absolutely fantastic. It's not pickly, briny, but it's just right. This will be a great addition to your menu this summer. You got to let me know if you try it. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you liked this video, please like this video. Share if you care. And remember, subscribing keeps you in the loop with everything coming up from My Ream Life. So on your way out, hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next video.